Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Claudia. Today I'm doing a super awesome flip through video of this super awesome beautiful junk journal that I have made for someone. This was a giveaway that I was hosting on my Instagram account last week, because I hit 9,000 followers, and I was so happy and so excited and so thrilled and so thankful that I thought I would do a giveaway and make a super gorgeous, no restrictions, put absolutely everything I have into this junk journal for a lucky person. And I was late to select the winner, but I have already, her name is Angela, and her Instagram name is Maker Mom. And I was so happy. I guess she must have been tagged by someone, because I don't know Angela. This was the first time that we kind of met through Instagram, and so she was the lucky winner. And I had promised everyone there that I was gonna do a flip through before I shipped it to her. And so here it is. It is a I made it using an old book. And this is probably going to be a two-part video. I don't know. I don't want it to be super long, but we'll see how much time it takes me to go. So I'm going to jump right in so I don't keep talking and making it longer. So the cover, I used this very thin, super thin fabric. And I put a cover of gesso underneath, on top of the cover of the book, because the book was, I think it was a blue or reddish color. So I covered it with white gesso so that that other color wouldn't come through, since the fabric was so see-through. And that's why you can see here that it kind of looks like it has a white background. And then I had this fabric here because I could not find any paper to match the turquoise here on the flower. So luckily I found a piece of fabric. I bought this fabric to use as a backdrop for my photo, and it turned out to be the perfect match color for here. So the bow goes all the way across on the inside, and I added, actually this little flower was white, and again I couldn't find the right color, so I used some of my spray inks and I dyed it to match the orange flowers on the cover. And then this is just a very delicate, which I'm gonna have to reinforce. It's a wood veneer little branch that I added there. And how I ended up attaching the signatures inside it is I punctured 2 holes there and 2 holes there, and then I fed the elastic through the inside. So I'm gonna, well, let me take these books out. They're not attached. Smart, smart, smart. So as you could see, they're very chunky, and they don't have anything in them other than just me decorating the pages. So by the time Angela adds her own stuff, these suckers are going to be huge. When I first made the book, I thought, oh, I'll put 2 of them, you know, because it was a big gap. But once they started getting chunkier, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna have to, I'll add both of them, but she'll probably just end up putting 1 in here, and she might have to make either another cover or just leave one of these books outside, because they're made specifically for this size book. But however she wants to do it, that will be fine. So on the inside, I found this just a pretty polka dot pattern paper. And then here's the elastic. I put 2 bands, and I left this extra long in case she needs to adjust it. And then I reinforced the center of the spine of the book with some clear shipping tape out. And then, like I said, I made 2 separate books, and she can do however she wants to do it. And like I said, if this video is too long, I might show you this one. Oh my goodness, I thought there was an earthquake right now. Oh, I've been just on edge. I have to leave my phone on, guys. If you hear it beeping, I'm sorry. My son broke his arm last week. It was a pretty severe break. He ended up with 2 plates on his arm because he broke both his ulna and his radius, and he ended up with 14 screws in his arms. And today is his first day back to school, so I've been just with my eye on the phone to make sure that nothing is gonna go wrong with him. So again, I'm sorry that if you hear my phone beeping, because if I can't hear it, I'm not gonna be looking at it. So I did decorate the front covers for each of the books. That way, I mean, she could actually just leave them as they are, like this, and not have them inside any, you know, protective cover. But it'll be up to her. This is what I meant to do, so here it is. Most of the supplies that I use for both books are by Maggie Holmes. There are 2 separate collections. And all right, so I use the open book collection by Maggie Holmes, and also a little bit of Dear Lizzy. This is the Polka Dot Party, and the other book is also by Maggie Holmes, and this is the Bloom collection. So these are the 3 packs that I use because they seem to coordinate and the colors went so well together. And I did use a little bit of also of the Carousel, the Maggie Holmes collection. So here it is. This is the cover, just a little lace, and this little circle here I popped, and I put this little paper clip, and I have these tiny little roses there, little clips, and those I got from Hobby Lobby, and so I thought it was cute to put one there. So hopefully you have to be careful with that guy that doesn't come out. So I've tried to decorate or do something to each of the pages, but at the same time be conscious that you know, that she will have to do some additions. I didn't know how much. I hope she doesn't mind that I have decorated a lot of the pages, and I did, so that it'll be easy for her just to add her journaling and her photos or whatever she wants to use. These could actually very easily be used for a travel journal if she wanted to make it a travel junk journal, because again, I think the theme works for anything. It doesn't have to say travel. So again, all the papers are but the ones that I show you, so I won't talk about that. I'll just talk about obviously how else I've done some things. This page was white because a lot of all the paper was one-sided, which means one side had a pattern, the other side was just plain white, and that's why some of the papers I've actually went back and cover. This is pretty thick cardstock, so it's kind of hard when you're using that. So if it was thinner pattern paper, you can actually glue 2 pages back to back, so both sides have a pattern, you know, pattern paper on both sides. But in this case, because it was cardstock, I left it as is, and then had to decorate the back of the pages that were the white with something. In this case here, because I just kind of follow the color palette, and this is mainly the colors that are used throughout the book, so I just use a Knoll. How I apply the paint here is I use an old gift card, and okay, we're gonna have to do this. And I put a little bit of paint there, and then I scraped it like that, used the other side for the yellow, and I had a second one with the blue on, and that's how I applied the paint to the page. And because you apply it very thin, it just dries up really quick. And then I just used just a couple of stamps, which in the end I kind of regretted doing that, but this is just a little banner that I cut out, fussy cut from one of the papers there. And like I said, I tried to coordinate the paper as best as I could, and I try to use some cardstock as well, because not everything has to be pattern. I call it. It's a little tab here, and they're just random throughout the book, just because I like to have little things sticking out instead of leaving this page just blank like this, I added, you know, just a few little journal cards or little pieces of paper to adorn the corner. And then I made this little, it's just a little paper clip that I cut using again some of the pattern papers just to hold this in place, and it just makes it cute, and she can reuse the paper clip. This one, like I said, I left it plain, and then just again so that it didn't look too plain, I added some journal cards that came in the pack. This was a white back, the back side of this paper, and I didn't want it to be white, so I added this paper here, and this is what we call a tuck space, because you can tuck something in there like that, and then you can use a paper clip if you don't want to attach. So let's say if you have a postcard or a brochure or a pamphlet of something of some sort, or movie tickets or anything like that, you can just tuck them in here and then just hold everything in place and again, just to make things cute and give her little embellishments that she can add later on, I'm just attaching a little butterfly there that I fussy cut. And this is just the back. Flower here is just another little accent that kind of match with the paper here. And then some pages I went a little crazy and I did add a lot. So for this one here, I made this little tag, and then I had this little cutout from my Cricut. I created a pocket here so that she can hold this tag. That's perfect for journaling. She could probably put a photo there and journaling on the back. I better glue that a little bit nicer. So my junk journals, they are not your typical vintage. I like to make them using, you know, scraps, but it's from recent stuff. Just a half a flower. This is some crepe paper that I scrunched up and run it through my sewing machine, and then I just adhere glue on the sides to create the pocket. This was just, I wanted to use this, you know, little embellishments, and I decorated this little corner. She could actually put a photo in here if she wanted to, but again, it'll be all up to her. Now this is what I was talking about. If your paper is thin enough, I put two pieces back to back of this very thin pattern paper, and I stitch on the top and the bottom and left the top open so that it would create a pocket. So she can add photos or letters, anything that she, you know, that she wants. So here's a little trick that I did. The page was thin, and because it was white on the back, again, I wanted to do something to any of the pages that were just plain white. So in this case, I added a little fold out, I don't know, just a fold out tip-in. That's what they call these when you add in additional little piece of paper. So I added a little tag here so it's easy to flip. I added again for her to use later on. I added that little journal card there, and then a little piece of washi tape to hold it, because I didn't want to cover this paper. I didn't put a piece of washi tape here. Most of the time when you do make a tip-in, you put washi tape on both sides, the front and the inside, but I think it's pretty well secured just with one piece. And then again, she can use this however she wants, and I added another little this little tag here is by the Receipt Girl, and then that was part of the paper collection. This was already like that, very pretty, so I left it alone. I figured the pattern paper itself was good enough there. Okay, so this one here, I used the same technique with the old gift card, and I just fussy cut some of these butterflies that were also part of the Maggie Holmes collection. I felt that it matched this pattern over here perfectly, butterflies and birds, the same color. Just a little tag being held with a paper clip, and then this here, on the other side, the paper clip is holding this little tag here, but I created two pockets. So the paper behind here was white, and I didn't want to leave it white, so I used some tissue paper because again, I was trying to minimize the bulk. I didn't want to keep adding more, you know, bulkness to the book. So tissue paper is perfect because it's so thin, it doesn't make a difference when, you know, it doesn't add more to the book. So this, I just cut these shapes, measured them to be exact, and then glued only on two sides, the sides and the bottom, and that creates your pockets. And again, these were part of the paper collection. They just already came in a 12 by 12, and I cut them apart. In this one, it was just a very pretty piece of paper. Again, these could be made into tags or anything else that she wants to do. And then we're getting to the center of the book, which is probably my favorite part. So you can see here, we are at the center. I stitched the book there, and if you, I'm sure you've seen lots of videos on how to stitch the book. I left the little tails a little long just in case, and didn't tie it too tight because it's always better to, you know, the pages sometimes want to kind of stretch if you do it too tight. So for the center, I use this, again, part of the Maggie Holmes collection, and I can't remember from which paper pad this one came from. Maybe the Bloom collection, I think. It's just a collage of different old postcards or something like that. So it's very pretty. Okay, back to business again. Hopefully no more distractions. So as I was saying, I'm in the middle of the book. I don't even remember how many pages it has. 1, 2, 10. So it has 10 pages. 10 and 10 is 20, but when you count a double-sided, that will make it 40. So this was a pocket that I got. It was from, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the company who makes these, but it has a calendar, a sort of a weekly, oh, actually it's a full month calendar on the front, but I thought it would be just kind of cool. So because I stitched it in the middle, it became 2 pockets, one on either side. And she will be able to add, actually this is too big, but she will be able to add something in there. So there's one and there's the other one. I added a large doily in the center there, and then decorated, you know, the little pocket just with some more pieces from the collection. So now everything is going to repeat on the other side. And oh yes, my most favorite one here, oh my gosh, is this not beautiful? It's just so beautiful. I love this. I am doing this new thing where I want to enlarge everything, certain things. I don't have a video, a process video for this other journal that I did, but I enlarged a flower this big and added it as a center, like a focal point on the page, and it turned out also just as beautiful. But this one here is just a butterfly that I had grabbed. I don't even know from where. I altered the colors just a little bit so that they would match, but I also printed it, which here's a tip. So this one I printed on top of a very light pattern paper. The paper itself was pink and it had these little lines going across, which meant that those little lines would also transfer onto the butterfly, giving it more texture. But it also changed a little bit of the color because we were printing on pink paper rather than printing on white paper. What I should have done is, or I can and I will probably in the future, is this paper, the pink paper, had a white background, or the back was white, it was plain, and I didn't want to add a plain white back over here because you can see it, because I knew I was going to leave the wings open like that. So what I did is I found, again, one of the pieces of the papers that I was using for the junk journal, and I added half of it on either side here so that in case you looked at it, it wasn't just plain white. But my tip is, I should have printed this on the reverse side, on the white side. So then the butterfly would have been printed on the white side, and then the pattern paper would have been on the other side. Does that make sense? So here, let me show you. Let me just grab something pretty here. Let's just pretend that I was going to print a butterfly on the white side. So then once I cut the butterfly, it would have looked like that, but then the back of it would actually be the pattern paper. So then this would be your butterfly here, right? So then the butterfly would have been here and this would have been on the back. So that is what I've been doing from here on. When I print other things, if I'm gonna attach them straight into the paper, then don't worry about it. But if, you know, in this case, I wanted the back of it to also have, to look pretty. Now, this background here was white. The paper was just white, and it just didn't look pretty enough to put the butterfly on top of a white background. But I didn't want it to be too busy that you would not see the butterfly. So I use vellum paper. So this here you can see it, is vellum. So I had this very pretty vellum, and this one came from Hobby Lobby, and then I folded it in half, and then I just attached all the way around. Actually, maybe not the top. I didn't put any glue on the top, but it's no big deal. So I think I just put glue in the center here, and then I added this very pretty multicolor washi tape, and I think it just made this look absolutely stunning, because there is a pattern and they're all flowers, but because it's still kind of white, it allows the butterfly to just look so beautiful all on its own. And don't you think that just looks so lovely? I want to do this in every book from here on. So then we move on to the next page, and like I said, the pattern obviously it's repeated since everything gets folded in half. This page right here was white, and once again I used just a little bit different technique with the same colors of acrylic paint, and that was just the brush doing several strokes like that. And then I did the little splatter with a darker and a little lighter just inks, and then I am adding these little embellishments here for her to use however she wants. And that's how I matched that. And then this one here was also white, but I cover it the same way I did on the other side, except I added a little tab here. And did I glue these? Yes, this was just the paper. Obviously it was white on this side, but remember I told you this is very thin, just like this one here. So it made the page a lot sturdier to add this cardstock on top. And then I did the same thing on the other side and left it as a pocket. Just if you follow all the way across, this is where the other pocket is, right here. See, so the paper repeats, and I just left that one blank like that for her to use. And then this one I love this little grid paper that I have, and so it's very thin, so I just glued it on top so it wouldn't be just a plain white page, and added a few little pieces of paper there to create a little accent. And then this is my other most favorite thing, and now I have to give credit to her YouTube is A Cool Mom, I believe is A Cool Mom. That is the name of her YouTube channel, and I think that's also her Instagram. And I had seen one of her junk journals, and she had added a little book in it, and so I did the same. I created this little pocket here, and using some leftover pieces of paper, I made another little tiny little book here, not too many pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get to the center, and I had this tiny little doily that fit it just perfect. And then again for 1, 2, 3, and 4 pages. And then this was part of the papers from the collection, and I added this little paper clip. Maybe I'll put it here to keep it close. And like I said, I didn't want it to flop around, so I added a little pocket there. So this could be filled with journaling or photos or whatever, but I thought that was super cute. So kudos to a cool mom for that tip. And then we're coming to the end. This was just a plain white piece of paper, or back of this paper, so I just covered it with this one. And this one I didn't want to leave it blank, so I added this accents here are attached, glued onto the page, but these are just kept here with the paper clip. Towards the end here, I added this little pocket, this little bag where she can add, and maybe I'll fill it up with more little things that she can use, some of these little bits and pieces that she can use. I'm including some tags, but it'll be something like that. And I love that. I've had so many of these and I finally got to use them. So just added a little bit of washi tape. And then this one again, same thing, just a piece of the paper and this little die cut of a heart that she can use in one of the pages. And we get to the end. The page is white, plain. You know what? I think it's okay. Most junk journals, this probably would be, the edges would be stained, or maybe this would be tea dyed or something like that. But because I like to keep them kind of new looking, I just added a little glassine bag. Actually, I think there's 2 doilies in here. Yeah. There's 2 doilies and this little cute little tag that she can use wherever she wants. So guys, I really think that this is going to be too long of a video if I do both of the books. So I'm going to stop here and just show you that one, and then I will do a second video where I will go through the next book. So I hope that Angela loves this book, because I have put a lot of care and a lot of love in making it. So I will go ahead and try and put both of them at the same time. Next will be this one, and it's funny because I started with this and I was so into it, and then I moved into that one and I even got more into it. Then now this one is even chunkier than that one, if you can see that. So I might have to add more stuff to it, but again, I hope she'll have fun adding her own little embellishments and memories in this awesome little giveaway. So thanks so much for watching. If you have questions, let me know. I will try. I always forget. I always try to add all the supplies, but I normally forget 1 or 2. If I do, please let me know. And thanks so much for watching. I will catch you on the next flip through. See you in a bit.